3 friends, Sarah, Jake, and Bob, decided to go on a weekend adventure into the heart of a dense forest they had always heard about, but never visited. The forest was known for its mysterious aura, thick canopy, and the occasional tale of strange occurrences. Armed with camping gear and an adventurous spirit, they set off early one Saturday morning. As they trekked deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to close in around them, the sunlight barely piercing through the thick foliage. After hours of hiking, they stumbled upon an old, decrepit house. Its appearance was straight out of a horror movie. Broken windows, peeling paint, and an eerie silence that surrounded it. Intrigued and a bit spooked, they decided to explore it. "Do you guys really think we should go in there?" Bob asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Come on, Bob. It's just an old house. It'll be fun," Jake replied, though his eyes betrayed a hint of nervousness. Sarah, always the curious one, led the way. As they stepped inside, the floorboards creaked under their feet. Dust hung in the air, and the faint smell of decay lingered. The house was filled with old, broken furniture and cobwebs that seemed to have been undisturbed for decades. Suddenly, they heard a faint, maniacal laugh echo through the halls. The sound sent chills down their spines. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Before they could react, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a man dressed as a Joker, with a grotesque, painted smile and eyes filled with madness. Once upon a time, a poor boy who used to be a circus joker was killed by his own brothers in the same house. Nobody was aware of the actual reason of killing, but sometimes loud crying sound is heard from the dense forest. In his hand, he held a big, rusty hammer. "Welcome, welcome," the Joker exclaimed, his voice dripping with sinister glee. "I've been waiting for some new playthings." Panic set in, and the friends bolted towards the door, but it slammed shut on its own. The Joker laughed louder, a sound that seemed to reverberate through their very souls. "Let's play a game," he said, advancing towards them. Desperation took over. Jake grabbed a broken chair leg and swung it at the Joker, but the madman was quick. He dodged the attack and slashed at Jake, grazing his arm. Blood trickled down, and Jake winced in pain. "Run!" Sarah screamed, pulling Bob towards the stairs. They raced up the stairs, the Joker's footsteps close behind. They found a small room and barricaded themselves inside. Jake was panting heavily, his wound dripping blood onto the dusty floor. "We need to find a way out," Bob said, her voice shaking. "We can't stay here." Sarah spotted a window and rushed to it. It was stuck, but with a few hard pushes, it creaked open. Below was a drop that seemed manageable. "We have to jump," she said, looking back at her friends. The Joker's laughter grew louder as he banged on the door, splintering the wood. "Go, now," Jake urged. One by one, they climbed out the window and jumped. They landed hard, but unharmed. Without looking back, they ran through the forest, branches scratching at their skin and adrenaline propelling them forward. They didn't stop until they reached the edge of the forest, collapsing onto the ground, gasping for breath. Behind them, the forest was silent once more, the haunted house hidden among the trees. "We need to tell someone about this," Sarah said, her voice trembling. "That Joker is still out there." The Joker started chasing them and found Bob sitting under a tree and tried to hit with the hammer, but failed. They made their way back to town and reported their horrifying encounter to the authorities. Despite a thorough search, the house was never found again, and the legend of the killer joker in the forest grew, a chilling tale passed down through the generations. As for Sarah, Jake, and Bob, they never ventured into unknown forests again, haunted by the memory of that fateful day and the laughter that still